Greetings, my fellow from Low Sovereign Thinkers. This is LL3's newest podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy mangroves of South Florida. Sorry. Today's date, April 19th, 2017. Yes, it is the 24th anniversary of the Waco massacre that was done by the tyrants and the treasonous parasites of the ATF, the Clinton administration. That includes the late and not so great Attorney General Janet Reno. And 22 years, Oklahoma City. The bombings there. And I do recall that one as well. They try to blame it on the state militias. Even back then, I was very critical of the witch hunting fetish by members of the Anti-Defamation League, which is they're not more than one world order Uncle Tom, as far as I'm concerned. And based on past practice, I can back that up pretty damn well. Like I said, it was the fire of Baal, B-A-A-L. But I know a lot of other things happened during that time. Of course, the Battle of Lexington happened on April 19th as well. Just to give you a few things to think about. I'm not going to be doing any of those topics anyhow, respectfully speaking. But there's plenty of information out there you folks could check and look for yourselves. And a lot of it's very relevant. It's pretty cloudy out here along the New River. And at CJ's Lounge, located at 400 Southwest 1st Avenue, or they call it the New River Drive. Once again, along the New River Fort Lauderdale in the southwest section of the Andrews Avenue Bridge. Alright, yeah, I'm just a little bit tired, but we'll manage. And, of course, the sports fanatics are talking about the death of Aaron Fernandez on his, he was serving time for murder, first-degree murder of a person happened in Boston. And, of course, the other trial he was acquitted. And everyone freaked out. Oh, it's the money, it's not. I go, no, it's the merits. Sometimes it's the information, how it comes out. All these experts out there talking about the money this, the money that. You've been watching too many Hollywood movies. Usually it has some key. Don't get me wrong. But you should always look at everything in its entirety. Don't watch the manifestation, people foaming at their mouth at the news. Their exploitations. You're better off just reading the transcript of these cases when it comes out. Then you can really know what was addressed. Yes. Well, I don't know. Been checking on the Alex Jones custody case. And of course you have all these weak and pathetic TV shows manifesting, foaming at the mouth, making comedy skits about them. That's what people's lives. Oh yeah, we're better than him. Ha 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 ha. Like watching Maury Povich on steroids. About those old DNA tests, right? Oh, you're the father. You're the father. It's just that same mindset. Nothing new at all. So I don't really gonna jump the gun on that. However, we'll just do a little check on the report on this. Came from the Statesman. And it's the latest. Came out, it's around an hour, a little over almost 2 hours ago. Alex Jones is expected to testify in custody case at 1 p.m. 1:05 p.m. update, which is Central Time, by Debbie Lord, which is Cox Media Group. Interesting. Alex Jones' trial is recessed for lunch, resuming at 1:30. Jones was originally supposed to testify Tuesday and then today. He may yet testify, but the third of the three psychologists involved in the case has yet to testify. He is scheduled to go before Jones, and those interrogations have gone very slowly, so who knows. Amid the testimony, the real story of the morning has been Alex Jones's ability to arouse his ex-wife's counsel with his smirks and head shakes. The lawyer twice protested to Judge Orlinda Narjano. They offered the same protest Tuesday. The judge said she is not going to stop Jones from communicating with his counsel, but asked him to switch his seat so he's facing her and not his ex-wife's lawyers. The unruly child in grade school being brought to front of the class. As anyone who watches Infowars knows, even without opening his mouth, Jones has a broad and hugely expressive face, and he is not afraid to use it. While Jones was not playing mind games with his wife's lawyers, they were busy attempting to demonstrate that the Austin psychologist working as the guardian ad litem assigned by the court to look out for the interests of the children in a divorce proceeding. And the case manager for the divorce, wrangling the therapy team, and keeping everyone straight and in sync, were in Alex Jones's corner, were very well paid. The guardian ad litem, Allison Wilcox, said she had worked 11,000 hours on the case, and her rate was $150 an hour, but she didn't bill for all of her hours. Sherry said her rate was $400 an hour, and she had earned about $175,000 on what she describes the most difficult case of her life over the course of about a year. She also said she had not been billed for all her hours. Alex Jones's lawyers brought before the jury that Kelly Jones suffers from emotional dysregulation, which Sherry describes as an spastic tendency to respond in a manner and with an intensity without proportion to the circumstances. Kelly Jones's lawyers were able to bring before the jury Alex Jones' diagnosis with narcissistic personality disorder, in which a person has a haughty and unearned sense of self-regard. Though Sherry said she wasn't sure whether the diagnosis and the psych value for the case was while he exhibited disorder of just certain narcissistic traits. Bobby Newman, represented Kelly Jones, asked whether it might be an indication of narcissism that Alex Jones did not want his young daughter, who had broken her nose wearing the boot the doctor ordered her wear to better heal. Perhaps, Sherry said. Alex Jones is expected to testify at his child custody trial at the Travis County Courthouse Wednesday, so that's today. Jones was supposed to take the stand Tuesday, but the pace of the trial slowed down as in testimony of two psychologists close to the case, and Jones' appearance was to push back until Wednesday, and not until after the second of those psychologists finishes her testimony and the third psychologist take the stand. Proceedings got underway at 9 a.m. In the meantime, the story on Tuesday in court. If you're looking at it, go ahead, first reading, look ahead to Jones' testimony. So it's going to be one of those dragged out trials. So hopefully, I just see it, the whole shebang. I'm not gonna go after the exploitation, and I've listened to Alex Jones in the past and see how he is on his show, gets emotional, screams and yells and all that. And that's, like I said, that's not really my cup of tea in those areas. But always admired a great amount of his information that's being addressed, plus honorable guests as well, on past shows and so forth. But I have to say, yes, if he's a very good father and stands on his principles, that's okay. And now there's time to be real mouthy, calling people out. I was watching a video with him on Peter Schiff, and you did use extreme language, but a question I have for folks, because they're going to try to use that in there in the courts. I wouldn't be surprised. But the question I have to folks who's going to jump the gun, will, there's times you're trying to be gentlemanly or use decorum for certain individuals. And sometimes profanity and fighting and violence, that's the only language they can really comprehend, which is horrible. But sometimes, especially you got people out there who are real slanderous, trying to tarnish people's reputations, they're looking for a fight, as far as I'm concerned. That's the only language they can comprehend. So, like I said, sometimes he can exhibit himself better. However, there's things you don't say. Guess what? I'm pretty critical. Yeah, I use a lot of sarcasm and all that, yes, but based on their actions, and that's it. So something you have to really think about. Because you're going to try to throw how much drama is going to be thrown at this Jones versus Jones case instead of accuracy, meritability. It will be very interesting, I would say, folks. But we're just gonna keep tabs on this, and if you got anything that's different, hey, send it to me. Don't be shy. You get all my inputs of which I'll do after the show, how to hook me up or send me stuff, and just still do it. But hey, like I said, it's one of those things you have to see how far will this go. And of course, many others out there are saying, "Oh my God, he said he's only a character. Is he gonna disappoint all of us?" The people who really listen to him and praise him as a Lord and Savior or a gatekeeper. So, like I said, this will be about the whole thing I said before. This should be on the children's best interest. Period. There are times people try, like I said before, people try to use their kids to get their way, regardless of their gender. There's people I'm real close with had this experience. And I'll leave it at that. All right. Next here will be came out April 17th. It's by John Rappaport. It says here, FDA Commissioner. And here we go again, FDA Commissioner in pocket of Big Pharma. And it says here, the excellent medical reporter Martha Rosenberg has written a piece at Salon. The FDA now officially belongs to Big Pharma. Here are the few highlights. It's hard to believe. Only 4 senators opposed the confirmation of an all-new FDA commissioner. He received money from 23 drug companies, including giants like Johnson & Johnson, Lilly, Merck, Schering-Plough, and GSK. He's also lists financial links to Gambro, Regeneron, Gilead, AstraZeneca, Roche, and other companies and equity positions in 4 medical companies. Gilead is the maker of the $1,000 a pill hepatitis C, using hepatitis C drug alternate. Recently wrote about this FDA commissioner material. Wow. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Gee whiz, how could I have made that mistake? I must have been asleep. Wow, I apologize. Martha Rosenberg published that Salon article in February 2016, and she was talking about Robert Califf, who has just been confirmed as the new FDA commissioner. Califf was nominated by Obama, not Trump. Oops. Trump's current nominee is Scott Gottlieb, who is apparently tasked with speeding up with the FDA's drug approval process, a disaster in the making, given the fact that the FDA-approved medical drugs already killed 176,000 Americans a year, a conservative estimate. Source: the Journal of the American Medical Association on July 26, 2000. Dr. Barbara Starfield. Is U.S. health really the best in the world? Here are a few quotes about the Trump FDA nominee Gottlieb from The Hill. But Gottlieb also faced criticism from groups that are concerned his ties to the drug industry could hurt the agency's commitment to safety and efficacy. He has a long time ties to the drug and medical industry after leaving the FDA in 2007. He is currently a member of the product investment board of drug giant GlaxoSmithKline and a member of the board of directors for Medavante Gardalalis and Glidetech, which does work in medical technology. Public citizen blasted Gottlieb for taking what they said was hundreds of thousands of dollars from multiple drug and device companies between 2013 and 2015, mostly for consulting and speaking fees. Gee, he sounds a lot like Obama's FDA Commissioner Califf. The beat goes on. You would think these FDA commissioners are handpicked by pharmaceutical companies, but that's impossible. That would never happen. Certainly not. If it did, we would be living in a parallel universe where corporations and governments are colluding and partnering and decimating people with their medicines, instead of living in the universe where the state and business are entirely separated. Where all is well. Yep, the more things change, the more it stays the same. Oh, absolutely. Too much, man. It's like I said, folks, don't believe the hype when it comes to the elections. Always stay vigilant. Yeah, real shame. If you're a bend over Bob, you're qualified to be a commissioner. Well, thank you, sir. Pathetic as usual. All right, speaking of that, this came out today by Mom Hero. Don't get tricked by a medical marijuana scam. Florida Health Department warns. It's by Alex Harris. A. Harris. Right, Alex A. Harris? Let me just look at this one more time. I think it's Alex Harris, right? Yeah, I think so. Yep, Alex Harris. That's what I thought. Alright, we'll continue on here. It says here, a few people in the state have across medical marijuana, and scammers are taking advantage of Floridians' hazy knowledge of the law. The Florida Department of Health warned residents that scammers are offering free or cheap marijuana is either and are pretending to be Office of Compassionate Use when gathering credit card information. The only group that can issue medical marijuana ID cards is the Health Department Office of Compassionate Use. The office will never ask for credit card information. In fact, all medical marijuana business is done in cash because of the plan's tricky legal standing. Credit card companies like big banks are leery of accepting money from drugs the federal government defines as illegal. Fear. Of course, only 7 dispensaries can sell marijuana. South Florida's Modern Health Concepts, CHT Medical, Green Solution, Trillileave, Cerula Therapeutics, Knox Medical, and Grow Healthy. Any other groups offering access to the drug is a fraud. Here's a list of doctors that can legally recommend medical marijuana. To get the list of physicians, have to complete an 8-hour training course and must have a 3-month relationship with their patient. Same old song and dance, I would say, right? The bureaucratic way, but you always gotta make sure don't fall for this crap. Actually, harass them. That'd be great. Harass these frauds. Just make them waste their time because they want to do it to you. Give them a taste of their own medicine times 5. Yeah. All right. Next one here is Judicial Watch. We just watched through State Department and USAID for record about funding and political activities of George Soros Open Society Foundation, Macedonia. USAID website reports it gave $4,819,125 in taxpayer money to Soros' Open Society Foundation, Macedonia, from 2012 to 2016. Judicial Watch announced today that it filed a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit against the Department of State and the U.S. Agency of International Development for records and communications relating to the funding and political activities of the Open Society Foundation, Macedonia. The Macedonia organization, part of George Soros' Open Society Foundations, received nearly $5 million from USAID from 2012 to 2016. The lawsuit was filed in U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. Judicial Watch versus U.S. Department of State and the U.S. Agency for International Development. There's a link for it. You can check it out yourselves. The suit was filed after both the U.S. Department of State and USA failed to respond to a February 16, 2017 FOIA request seeking all records to any grants, contracts, or disbursements of funds by the Department of State to the Open Society Foundation, Macedonia, and or any other foundation subsidiaries. This request includes all related requests for funding, payment authorizations, or similar records, as well as all related records of communication between any official, employee, or representative of the Department of State and any official, employee, or representative of a U.S. agency for international development, which is USAID, anchoring any records of communications between any officials, employee, or representative of the Department of State and any officer, employee, or representative of the Open Society Foundation, Macedonia, and or other foundations, affiliate organizations. This request includes responsive records of communication sent from or directed to U.S. Ambassador to Macedonia, Jess L. Bailey. All analysts of similar analysis, or similar records regarding the political activities of the Open Society Foundation, Macedonia, and or any other foundations, affiliate organizations. All messages transmitted via State Department SMART system sent from any U.S. government employees or contractor operating under the Chief of Missions Authority at the U.S. Embassy in Scope G that pertains to the Open Society Foundation, Macedonia, and or any of the foundation's affiliate organizations. The USAID website reports that between 2017, February 27th, 2012 and August 31st, 2016, USAID gave $4,819,125 taxpayer money to Soros' Open Society Foundation, Macedonia, or FOSM, in partnership with 4 local civil society organizations. The USAID website link to www.soros.org.mk and says that the project trained hundreds of young Macedonians on topics such as freedom of association, youth policies, citizen initiatives, persuasive argumentation, and the use of new media. In February, Judicial Watch reported the U.S. government has quietly spent millions of taxpayers' dollars to destabilize the democratically elected center-right government in Macedonia by colluding with left-wing billionaire philanthropist George Soros. Records obtained by Judicial Watch show Barack Obama, U.S. Ambassador to Macedonia, Jess L. Bailey, has worked behind the scenes with Soros' Open Society Foundation to funnel large sums of American dollars for the cause, constituting an interference of the U.S. ambassador in domestic political affairs in violation of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. Here's how the Calistan operation functions according to high-level sources in Macedonia and the U.S. that provided Judicial Watch with records as part of the ongoing investigation. The Open Society Foundation has established and funded dozens of left-wing non-governmental organizations, or NGOs, in Macedonia to overthrow the conservative government. One Macedonian government official interviewed by Judicial Watch in Washington, D.C. recently calls it the Soros Infiltrate. The groups organize youth movements, create influential media outlets, and organize violent protests. Sorry about that. A little protest to undermine the institutions and policies implemented by the government. One of Soros' groups funded the translation and publication of Saul Alansky's Rule for Radicals into Macedonian. The book is a tactical manual of subversion, provides direct advice for radical street protests, and proclaims Lucifer to be the first radical. Thanks to Obama's ambassador, who has not been replaced by President Trump, Uncle Sam keeps the money flowing so the groups can continue operating and recruiting sources in Macedonia and the U.S. confirmed. According to Inside Philanthropy.com, sources Open Society Foundation may be the largest philanthropic organization ever built, with branches in 37 countries. While the Gates Foundation spends more money, OSF has larger footprint worldwide thanks to its many local offices, including throughout Africa. Interesting. OSF budget will be around $930 million. Activities of Ambassador Bailey and USAID's funding to Open Society Foundation have recently come under congressional scrutiny. On January 27, 2017, Senator Mark Lee, Republican from Utah, sent a letter to Bailey asking him to explain the State Department's relationship with Open Society Foundation. On February 24, 2017, Representative Chris Smith, Republican from New Jersey, Louis Gohmert, Republican from Texas, and others called on the Government Accountability Office to conduct an investigation and audit of the Department of State and USAID's activities in Macedonia, including funding of Open Society Foundation entities and potential interference in domestic Macedonian political affairs in potential violation of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. The Obama administration seems to bust taxpayer budgets in an effort to fund the sort of operation, said Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton. The Trump State Department and USAID should get their act together and disclose the details of the Obama-Soros spigot. Absolutely. Yeah, so, hey, Rico, baby, right? Absolutely. So this is why, folks, you have to always look at the bigger picture. Who's funding who? And who's going to benefit? That's what they call bribery, tyranny, and using people, taxpayers' money. How sweet and astute it is, correct? So I hope Judicial Watch will get this, and it'll be great, and do an audit on these bastards, ungrateful parasites as well. Yeah, so I'm not going to be ranting on this over and over again. I'm just a little bit mellowed, so bear with me, okay? Yeah, so, alright. The next one here, because the final one to be very sincere. And this just came out in Texas by MyStatesman.com. It came out yesterday. Breaking ground. House panel okays gun carry with no license. David Lord from Cox Media Group. And it says here, House Committee approves bill to let owners carry a handgun without obtaining a state license. Less restrictive legislation by Representative Jonathan Strickland didn't receive a vote. Breaking new ground in a concerted effort to expand gun rights, a Texas House committee approved legislation Tuesday that would allow handguns to be carried concealed or in the holster without state-issued license. Approval came on a 6-2 party line vote, even though all 6 Republicans in favor of House Bill 1911 did so despite reservations over one over concerns that unlicensed carry could hinder police officers, and 5 because they believe the bill didn't go far enough to remove restrictions on gun owners. I'm voting for it, and I'm proud to do so, said State Representative John Ray, Republican from Waxahachie. It's the first bill to be voted on in Texas to allow permitless carry of a handgun. Ray added, however, he will begin working on the 4 amendments to Down 1911 to rectify restrictions on permitless carry, including restrictions those convicted of a non-violent Class B misdemeanor. The version of HB 1911 approved by the House Homeland Security and Public Safety Committee contained several substantial changes from the version that drew extensive public testimony 3 weeks ago, including to carry without a permit, gun owners will have to meet the same standards needed to obtain A license to carry, which is generally available to those who are 21 and older, have no criminal convictions, and are eligible to purchase a weapon under federal and state laws. The early version would have allowed guns to be carried by those 18 and older. There are some few compromises, all right? Churches and places of worship will be removed as prohibited places to carry guns, although sites could post signs banning guns if desired. So right there is property rights. And those whole things about having laws in the books, you're not allowed to own firearms, can't have firearms carried in the churches. That's none of the damn government's. That's not the government's damn business. First of all, those organizations are going to make that decision. Plain and simple. Openly carry handguns will still be required to be kept in a holster, but not only in a belt or shoulder holster. The revised bill by Representative James White, Republican from Hillster, wouldn't change any laws related to campus carry. A statute passed in 2015 that allowed licensed gun owners to carry concealed weapons in most areas of public universities, says Representative Phil King, Republican from Rutherford. This bill simply creates an unlicensed option to carry a handgun, said King, chairman of the committee. The committee didn't vote on another bill to allow permitless carry, often called constitutional carry, that was favored by many other gun rights advocates who testified during hours-long committee hearing the last month House Bill 375 by Representative Jonathan Strickland, Republican from Bedford. King said the committee was awaiting a revised version of the bill to meet several unstated concerns, which Strickland indicated won't occur for legislation that would allow anybody who legally owns a firearm to carry it without a license. I'm not going to water it down. He knows best. He knows that, Strickland said via Twitter. After the hearing, White said he sought to find balance with this bill. We understand that for the most part, Texans are satisfied with the current carry laws we have now. However, there is still a significant number of Texans who believe if you're a law-abiding citizen, you shouldn't necessarily have to buy your way to right to bear arms through a license, White told the American Statement. This should not technically change the population of people, the character of the population of people that are carrying, he said. Before voting on HB 1911, King said that as a former police officer, he has grave concerns about its potential impact on law enforcement. Even so, King voted yes, saying it was motivated by respect for White and the goals of the bill's supporters. Several other Republicans who voted yes said they favor Strickland's version, including Representative Matt Schaefer of Tyler and D. Wayne Burns of Claiborne. Representative Gina Hinojosa, Democrat from Austin, voted no, saying her office received an outpouring of calls and emails from people opposed to HB 1911. I'm concerned that this bill will make it harder for our law enforcement officers to do the job that we entrust them with, Hinojosa said. Well, I gotta say this. It's a natural-born right, not a privilege, okay, for one. And what people need to start reading their state constitution as well. Because, like I said before, it's always been natural-born rights. If you use it for criminal intent, that is not a natural-born right. Period. So, I gotta look under here, under Bill of Rights, Article 1, Texas Bill of Rights. And it's very cool, interesting what they have in here. I know I've done this before, so I'm going to add that to the memo. And it says it right here about sovereign state, of course, inherited political power, and equal rights. All free men, when they form a social compact, have equal rights, and no man or set of men is entitled to exclusive, separate, public emoluments or privileges but in consideration of public service. So right there. And the equal of law, that's 3A. And you just keep on going down here. Excuse me. Just gotta go down here on sections So that's actually 3 you gotta look at, you know. So you can all look at that. It's 3, and we could just go down a little bit, my friends. My friend. I'm just looking. Of course, they have the right to bear arms, of course, which that's deprived of life and liberty. That's Section 19. Those citizens of the state shall be deprived of life, liberty, property, privilege, or immunities, or in a manner disenfranchised except by due course of the law of the land. Okay? There's a difference right there. Section 23. Every citizen shall have the right to keep and bear arms in the lawful defense of himself or the state, with legislature shall have the power by law to regulate of wearing arms with a view to prevent crime. So it does vary. So right there, but still, it's a right, natural born right. And of course, gotta go down here, right to assembly. I'm just looking at one more thing here. That's really it. So you can look at all that. And I like what it says here, that the general and great essential principles of liberty and free government may be recognized and established. So Texas has that political power, inalienable rights, and all that. So right there, I'll add Article 1 of their state constitution. So that's how I see it, and all in good faith. If you can use it for a crime, that's a different ball game. So, hey, that is all. I'd like to thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share us around your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or you want to send me something that's interesting I may want to check out, whatever you do, please address your correspondences with decorum. You can hit me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Tumblr, YouTube, Freedoms Network, Steam.life, or Minds.com. Or you can email me at LokiLuck3 at gmail.com, which is LokiLuck and number 3 altogether. For all those encrypted fans, LokiLuck03 at protonmail.com. I do donations at Patreon. I'm going to add that to the footnotes. All right, patreon.com/LokiLuck. Roman number 3, there's 3 eyes. All right. And that's all for now. Once again, thank you for your time. But always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.